Let's start with the Daily Telegraph and, of course, these allegations about David Laws.
That's right, and this is probably the only front page that won't be changing tonight because all the others most certainly will. The Telegraph exclusive, which is saying that David Laws paid up to £40,000 to his long-standing lover. And we'll have to see how this develops. I mean, I think we will see this developing through the night. And I think that his future is in jeopardy, and obviously we'll see whether he decides to resign probably tomorrow.
It's a blow for the coalition government.
Huge. David Laws is the one man, in the brief 2 weeks we've had this new government, he's the one man who's done superbly. I mean, he's managed to sell £6 billion of cuts, and seems to have done so without people being too upset about it, which is brilliant. And then this goes and happens. And I think that what is sad about it is that he'd wanted to keep the relationship secret. His family and his friends didn't know about James Lundy, that his long-term lover. And I think you can see that before the election, he'd kind of got away with keeping that quiet. And so on that basis, he didn't dream he was going to be Chief Secretary at the Treasury. And of course, everything's happened since, by which time there was nothing he could really say about it. And I think once again, you see somebody who's become a victim of the fact that public figures do not have the same measure of privacy as the private citizen. And that's the problem that David Laws is facing now.
Do you think it is a problem? Because he's doing everything that he can. He's paying the £40,000 back. He's referring himself to the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. The Lib Dems, they did pretty well in the whole expenses scandal. They didn't... They were good. So do you think his career is on the line?
I do, because I think that the real problem is he didn't come clean when he had the chance to, which was last year when the whole thing was coming out. Now, we know now from his statement that he's issued tonight, the reason he didn't do that is because the relationship, as far as he was concerned, was private. He didn't want people to know about that. The Daily Telegraph makes the point. They weren't even going to mention it until David Laws referred to it in his statement. So last year he didn't come clean. This is my point about the public figure. Here we had a huge scandal with MPs' expenses. That was the moment for everybody to be absolutely upfront and totally honest. And so whatever else comes around this one, that is what David Laws has not been. He's not been open about what was happening. And I think that when you've got somebody who's in charge of the nation's purse strings, he's the man who's not just taking off £6 billion this year. We're talking about a whole raft of new cuts that are coming in. He's got to be absolutely above reproach, absolutely whiter than white. And clearly there are question marks over this. The mere fact he's referred himself to the Parliamentary Commissioner shows that he recognises there are these question marks.
Nigel, I suspect we are going to be talking about this much more. Let's just briefly move on to the next paper, The Guardian, and Alistair Campbell back in the spotlight again.